Yo, what's up trainers? Welcome back to a new video, and in today's video we're going to be diving into the Great League. The Weather Cup is live as well for the Ultra League. Unfortunately I don't really have the Pokemons in my roster to make any videos for that cup. I might try to have some play in it, but honestly I don't really have the Pokemon and the compositions for making a good team, so don't expect too much from me on that. And in today's video we're gonna be checking out a nice team which you will see I face in the first game, because the team you see on the left is not going to be the team or the team you're gonna see me using right now is not going to be the same team as you will see on the left, but it is going to be the same team as my opponent here is running, because I was kind of like, or I am kind of like struggling to find the right team to basically climb an ELO, and this team helped me out quite a lot. I was hard or triple countered in this matchup where I was running Umbreon, basically double dark in the back, and they had the old school triple counter team, which is actually kind of like a nice pick because you don't see that too often anymore. And I was like, I think it kind of has like and this trainer as well still has a lot of play in the current meta and all the Pokemons that are being used, because I think there are a lot of Pokemon right now where there are teams which are weak to counter. So I was like, I think this team can really work out really well. So as you can see here, we swap into our Sableye and they have an Obstagoon in the back. I'm gonna try to land and return, but even though if we do in the first place, I don't think it's going to be, or it's going to matter too much anyways, because yeah, our fast move is doing absolutely nothing. And besides that, yeah, if we go for the bait and they call it, it's even worse. You can go for the bait. We should have went for the bait if you see it right now, but honestly this game was over if it wasn't already, because yeah, we couldn't get the alignment right, and that is gonna cost us the game. But as you can see, we top left here, and now we move on to the next game. And in this game you see that I changed my team composition. We copied the same team, and we are running Rock Slide Thunderbolt, as well as we are not running the Psycho Boost. So yeah, that might be surprising for you as well. But honestly, with the Alolan Ninetales right now in the meta, and I've seen it so many times right now. It's a really strong Pokemon, but it is also really annoying to face. And Nidoqueen is actually, if you're talking about triple counter, a really good counter for this team. So yeah, I was running it, and straight away was running into one of the hardest counters for this team again. So it wasn't looking too good as well, especially when you're not running the Psycho Boost. So yeah, going from bad to worse in this place, or in this game, or this battle, which is kind of like unfortunate, right? Because when you try to adapt to what you see, and at the first match or battle you are trying to make that adapt work, you see the hardest counter, or basically one of the hardest counter, which is not often used or commonly seen, and the first game we play, we face it. So here I'm gonna go for the on the scene Batai. Is a misplay by me, because now I have to, or I don't have to, but I want to shield because I want to preserve some HP on my defense from Deoxys. As you can see, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna spam or click on any of the bubbles, basically to make sure that we get some extra farm here. As you can see, we are not running the move of Psycho Boost, which is kind of like unfortunate in this scenario. So they actually come in with their final Pokemon, and that's going to be a Bastion. And at this point they made a really nice catch as well, but we can farm all the way down, leave with as much energy as probably is possible. So leave it with the max or 100 energy, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, at this point I think the game is over, because they're kind of like energy dry on their Nidoqueen, and now we can farm them all the way down before they will reach their second Stone Edge, because they would have reached it, I think 1 or 2 Stone Edge, I wasn't counting really, after that last Rock Throw. So now we just gonna throw straight away, because we are at 100 energy, so we don't want to over farm, because that would basically be a lose of energy, right? So we're just gonna throw here, and then they have to shield at some point. I'm gonna throw here straight away again, because now they have to shield, and we can try to go for a catch. Honestly, I don't think it matters too much, because look at this, they're one counter away. We make a catch. It doesn't really matter too much, because we could have, if we would have survived the poison thing, if I'm not mistaken, and now we can farm them down. So yeah, GG's, very well played, but we took down our hardest counter for this team, right? So we got the Stunfisk on the lead, kind of like a positive lead, although we only have resisted charge moves, which is unfortunate. So what I like to do in this scenario is basically tank a Earthquake and leave with a lot of energy and then dip out, because you do need to lure out that Medicham, which is probably going to be in the back. If not, another fighter. And now let's see, do they have the Medicham? They're actually gonna come in with their Altaria, which is fine, because even though our fast move is going to be resisted in this matchup, we do have the energy lead and 3 or 4 body slams, which we can spam, obviously. Is going to be enough to take them out, and we can take one Sky Attack, and we will reach our 3rd or 4th body slam, I think it's the 3rd one, before they will reach another charge move or their 2nd Sky Attack. So that means that they either have to give up, give a shield, or that they are fine with letting their Altaria go and also letting Switch Advantage go. So now let's see. If we get Switch, that's going to be very nice. And we get switched. So they come in with their final Pokemon, which is going to be a Sableye. We got the hardest counter for it in the back, and we got a lot of energy stored on our Deoxys. Even though it's going to be resisted, we don't have any charge move, even though I wasn't gonna plan on throwing it to lower our attack, right, with the Psycho Boost. But yeah, at this point we can just save our shields. Doesn't matter too much at this point, at this time, to shield or whatsoever, because we will resist all their charge move, and we except for the return, of course, but we can survive one. At this health range, we might have to give up a shield as well, because a return would be almost fatal. So you don't want to, you want to be sure that that's not going to happen. Here they are gonna go for we are going to go for another Night Slash, and after this, if the shield, we're going to snipe straight away, getting rid of that Sableye. As you can see, we still had a lot of energy, and if it wasn't over already, it will be now, because yeah, they're taken out and there's nothing they can do, right? We still have a full health or almost a full health Obstagoon in the back. Alrighty, GG. Very positive lead, because they are double weak by the counter damage. It's going to be double super effective, and they save swap into a Medicham, and at this point I already think it's going to be a GG, because we have all the answers in the world in the back for that Sandslash. It doesn't have any play against this whole team, or maybe against the defense from the Deoxys if it is running the Shadow Claw as a fast move. Otherwise it doesn't have any play against my team, because if it is running Shadow Claw, it doesn't do any damage against my backline, and if it has Power Snow, now, well, it might have some play against my backline, but still, with the double super effective counter damage on their Steel Ice typing, it has nowhere to run, right? So we can just let this go for a Thunderbolt, and at this point, if their Medicham is gone and out of the way, it's a GG. There's nothing they can do. They let this go, and they come back in. They have the Shadow Claw on their and they have a Trevenant in the back as well on their Sandslash, and yeah, this game is over. There's nothing they can do. As I said before, if they have the Medicham lurking in the back, you want to get that out with your Vigoroth, and otherwise, yeah, there's nothing they can do, right? It's just easy game, GG's. Alrighty, we got a tough lead on the or tough lead, but we do have the Rock Slide, right? So that's kind of like a nice option for us to go for. Nice coverage, we can go for it. Are they going to respect the potential Rock Slide? They are not, and this is going to be a lot of super effective damage. Did we catch the Shadow Ball? That would be absolutely perfect. Best way to play this first lead out. But unfortunately, they went for the bait and for the Avalanche, which is kind of like a tough thing for us, because that does a lot of damage, right? And puts us into probably a farm down range for this Hippowdon. But let's see if we can make another one. Yes, we can, and this makes them either shield or give up switch. And now let's see. Are they gonna give up their shield? Yes, they're gonna give up their final or their first shield. Whatever they're gonna throw, I'm hoping it's going to be the Weather Ball, because a Shadow Earth Power would do a lot of damage. But I'm gonna make sure that we save our shields for our Obstagoon in the back, and hopefully we can farm them down. We cannot, so that's kind of like an unfortunate thing for us, but what do they have in the back? Is it something we can manage with our Obstagoon? And they actually have a Stunfisk, so it is something we can manage. So in this case, I think it's going to be a GG anyways already, because even though it's going to be, our counters are going to be resisted or single resisted on their Frostlass. Their Frostlass is so low that, and also the counter damage still does kind of like a respectable amount of damage, even though it's resisted. They're also very low on HP, so yeah, it doesn't really matter too much at this point. I can just go for Cross Chop or Night Slash, doesn't really matter at this point. Night Slash can be the best thing, I think, because if they catch, you will still KO them, but with a Cross Chop at this health range, you would have KO'd them as well. So yeah, there's not a lot they can do. I think we can farm them down, as you can see, and if we can. They are not going to reach another Earthquake. So yeah, that's going to be a GG. Very well played. This team worked out very well for me. We did face also a lot of kind of like hard counters. Again, a Toxapex on the lead is a really hard counter. Here I should have swapped out earlier maybe, but I wanted to put myself into shield advantage, so we get the shield here, which is nice. And at this point we can let one move go and go for the body slam straight away, making sure that we are not going to be a losing switch and going to be taken out. But my opponent kind of like makes a nice play by coming in with their third Pokemon, which is going to be a, what do you think? Oh, I thought it was a different game. It's not going to be the Medicham. I thought this was going to be the Medicham. It's going to be the Trevenant, which is fine, because you can already tell this, right? It's going to be, or probably going to be, a GG. We have the shield advantage on our defense from Deoxys, and the hardest thing to take out in this game is going to be the Toxapex, but we do have the coverage of the Thunderbolt. So we're just going to come in with our Obstagoon, farm up a lot of energy, and then hopefully the only thing we really have to do in this case or this scenario is to make sure that we land either 1 or 2 Thunderbolts, and if we can, that's going to be a GG. At this point we can still let this go, doesn't matter too much. I'm gonna under tap, so that means that right away I'm just gonna throw, but they straight away swapped out as well, which is a nice play by them if they intended to do so and make this play, right? But it also helps us kind of like with this chip damage. We don't really have to bait here, because I think we will reach 2 more moves on our defense from Deoxys. And we still have some stored energy on our Obstagoon. So can we reach another one? If we can, we're gonna use our first shield in this game right now, because we need to land this Thunderbolt, because if we don't land this Thunderbolt, we are gonna be losing this game anyways. And they are at another one, and we still have an energy lead against their Trevenant, because they are dry on their Trevenant. And as long as we are as long as we can overfarm a bit in the next, because this Thunderbolt is not going to be taking them out, and if we can overfarm and leave with a bit more energy than their Trevenant, as you can see, or against their Toxapex, we will outpace them. As you can see right now, we outpace them, and hopefully we can outpace them on their next charge move and survive also the poison jab damage. I think we will win CMP, and it's a CMP. So that's actually a very tight battle, very well played by my opponent as well. But in the end game, we were able to manage and secure the win. So yeah, that's kind of like a very, very nice and tight game. Alrighty, tough leads continue. We've had a lot of tough leads so far, but we can manage those, trying to get rid of this Trevenant. And at this point, we can already know that we will take Switch, because we can easily shield up if we want to go for a Bulldoze or for double body slam. In my opinion, going for double body slam is the way, because you will outpace if you are first in this matchup. And they will get down by it. As you can see, we're just gonna go straight away for another one, and this will either put them in a range where they are gonna get KO'd, or not putting them in a range, but they will get KO'd, or they will, or we will gonna take Switch, or they will have to use a shield. So now they come back in with a Trevenant. They're gonna throw straight away. I think this is kind of like a misplay by my opponent. They should have overfarmed way more, because I could have only went for a resisted charge move, and they also swapped in immediately, so we can anticipate on that by swapping in immediately as well, making sure that we hard lock them in this matchup, going for a Night Slash. They have to shield, or this will almost take them out. They shield, which is fine, and whatever is going to be in the back is also weak against our Obstagoon, I think. So I'm gonna shield up this move because I want to preserve some HP. Seed Bomb does kind of like hurt, and you don't want to get hit by it if you are not sure what they have in the back, right? So we're gonna go for another Night Slash, and now they shield up again. So we will lose CMP. They are gonna throw before we reach, so that's fine. I'm gonna shield up again, and I'm very curious on what they have in the back. Are they gonna show? Yeah, they have a Stunkfisk, so it made it kind of like sense, right, to stay in. And Obstagoon core breaks their whole or their team. And that's something Obstagoon really does well, I think, right now in this meta. We're gonna store a Night Slash just to make sure that we can take out that Trevenant. And the other thing that we will do in this matchup is just take out the Stunkfisk by using not any charge move. We're not going to use or make sure that the timer is going to go up faster so that they can swap back in. They could take us out. We don't care. We're just going to come back in. We leave with a Night Slash, and at this point, this game is over. If we went for a move, or if we taken them out earlier before they would take us out, that maybe would have put them in a place where they were able to farm down and leave with a Seed Bomb. We will lose CMP, and that will be devastating for us, because then we might have lost the game. So yeah, best way to do in that situation is to just counter them down and not throw your charge move. In this next game, we have the Alolan Ninetales, and Alolan Ninetales is actually a pain for this team, or can be a real pain, although we do hit them for neutral with our counter, so that's something nice. Here another the same mid-game matchup as we had in the earlier game or the previous game, but in this case we are actually behind on energy because they aggressively swapped in. And now, as you can see, we kind of like have to shield. I'm expecting something weak to counter in the back as well, because a Drapion safe swap is there to always lure out whatever is good against counter, or whatever is going to be good against Swampert, or bad against Swampert or counter or whatsoever, for example Bastion. But they actually are running a Medicham in the back. I wasn't really expecting that, and this is actually going to be very hard because we are shield down, and we don't really have the greatest alignment. Luckily they are running Powder Snow over instead of the Charm, because Shadow Charm on a Obstagoon would be, well, it's kind of like devastating for us. So here, I'm not too sure if they stopped tapping, because they were tapping right now, and if they got it back, that energy, or that they were lagging. Not too sure, but we just continued, and at this point, we can go for a cross chop. And I think my only win con in this match is basically to not shield my Obstagoon and hoping that they won't go for the Dazzling Gleam at this point, and that we leave with a Thunderbolt, because a Thunderbolt would be enough, I think, with the added counter damage to take out that Medicham. So as you can see, we're not going to shield, they're going to take us out, and this is actually perfect for one farm down range or one counter damage for us. As you can see, one counter will take them out, and hopefully we can reach another. They have to reach 2 Ice Punches to take us out, because we still have a shield, and we reach. Is this going to be enough? I think it will be, even though, or a 1 counter extra will be enough. It's going to be enough, and that's going to be a GG. Very well played. Next game, we got Escavalier on the lead. Escavalier is also kind of like a trouble Pokemon for our backline. Any Pokemon basically with counter is going to be troublesome for our backline. But seeing it here on the lead is perfectly fine. They also went for it straight away, so this can only be a drill run. We don't have to shield. It's doing a lot of damage, but we don't have to shield. I'm gonna go for a Rock Slide at this point, and then afterwards I'm gonna try to maybe snipe them if they let this go. And they let this go, so I'm gonna snipe. And can we get the snipe? We can. We catch them off guard in the middle of their counter animation, and they come back in, or they come in with their Medicham, which is actually perfect, because that means that our Obstagoon is probably not going to be, or is probably not going to see that Medicham aligned. And we can also align it back to our defense form Deoxys. So hopefully we can reach one more body slam, we can. And this actually kind of like surprised me. I know how Vigoroth is a very, very strong Pokemon, but look at that. It's all it almost takes out a Medicham. We can come back in with our defense form Deoxys, basically go for a Rock Slide if we want to. Maybe it would have been the play to just go straight away for it. Maybe it would have made them decide to either shield or whatsoever. We want to get rid of this Medicham just as fast as possible. And as you can see, this Rock Slide is going to be enough. They have a Bastion in the back. We got the counter and the fighting type move. So yeah, that's going to be a GG. Very well played. Love to see it when you take down a Bastion in the back, right? Because Bastion can be such a pain for you. Yeah, that's going to be GG. I forgot to edit this part out. I see, doesn't really matter too much if you can find an opponent straight away. Normally I skip these parts, but well, I forgot to edit it. I see. So we got another trainer. What do we have on the lead? We got the Noctowl on the lead. So Noctowl on the lead with the moves that we have actually all the moves we need to take that out, and they straight away swap into their Medicham. Perfect. We're gonna stay in. We're not gonna swap out into whatever Pokemon, because they will be very detrimental for us, right? Because Medicham takes down our whole backline. So yeah, we're also ahead on energy. So basically, this is sort of the best case scenario for us. Making sure that we will just go for the Thunderbolts straight away. And getting rid of this Medicham, because Noctowl against a Vigoroth does quite well, and I'm expecting that they will have something weak against counter, right? Or that they might have a Trevenant in the back because they are swapping into their Medicham, and that's actually my main guess. Expecting them to have a Trevenant, and if they have a Trevenant, my backline will do fine as well. We can reach another Thunderbolt just on 1 HP and a Dream, and making sure that we get the KO, and we also leave with switch advantage. So perfect. Now we're gonna come back in, or we're gonna come in with our Vigoroth. What do they have in the back? Are they gonna swap straight away? No, they're not. We're just gonna spam out these body slams. We win CMP over the Noctowl, so this is kind of like looking very good for us, because we can take a Sky attack easily, and the only thing we have to do here is basically make sure that whatever is going to be in the back, Obstagoon is going to be able to handle it with 2 shields, and making sure that we get this Noctowl very low. We're gonna go for the body slam spam. Just once we get it, we're gonna hit it and click on it, and then we're gonna throw it on the Noctowl, and afterwards, hopefully, let's see, what do they have in the back? They actually have a Sableye. So if this game wasn't over already, it is now, as well as this video. I hope you trainers enjoyed this video. I went on a 9-1 run, if I'm not mistaken. So a really nice team composition. Triple counter still works, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Peace.